Yakov is an Australian Rust streamer who has grown significantly in popularity over the last few years, attributing a lot of that growth to his informative style of YouTube shorts. He has an unconventional career path, transitioning from being a lawyer to a full-time content creator a couple of years ago, and now has his eyes set on more than streaming, more recently learning the craft of long-form content on YouTube. I sat down and played Rust with him for a couple of hours to talk about what his thoughts are on the current state of the game, his career path up until this point, and what the future looks like for Yakov. Welcome to the Yexom Yarn.
Are these massive updates departing from the fabric of what made the game great in the first place? This is the part which I don't even understand how I did it. I loved the video. Like it was, I don't...
What? Hello, Yakov.
Oh, hello, Yexom.
How you going, dude?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Totally haven't been on a call with you for the last half an hour.
No, wait, hang on. You said to pretend we weren't in a call.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. We have never spoken before.
No, this is the first ever time.
Yeah, first time meeting.
I went to get the milk and now I'm back.
Yes, Daddy Yakov's back. What an opening. How you been, dude?
I've been good. How have you been?
Yeah, not bad. How you finding Rust?
Recently?
Yeah, how's Rust at the moment for you, dude?
When you say Rust, you mean Arc Raiders, right?
Yeah, of course.
No, Rust has been good. It's not the same as it used to be for me, at least. I think a lot of people not disliking it, just finding it different, I would say.
Do you have any specific ways that you think it's different, or is it just you think you're getting old and it's wearing off on you, or is it like
hey, we're already into that? Oh, look, I've played since 2013. I've played a long time. I haven't content created that long, but I've been around a fair bit. I've seen a lot of different versions of the game, as you have as well. There's a lot of very experimental changes and a lot of loud noises on Twitter about the direction the game should go and not go. And everyone has an opinion on it. Some are better, some are more valuable opinions than others in terms of trying to grow the game and what's best for the game. Everyone's just got a different take. So the changes, like the recent ones with the workbench changes and the most recent ones with the price changes of the scrap prices, it's a bit of a disconnect for me because we slowed everything down with the fragments and then we sped everything up with the prices.
Do you think that that's purely the reason you've not been playing recently, or is it just happened to coincide with
No. I played Arc Raiders because it was a new game and
you're enjoying
fun
that.
And just wanted to give it a try, just try something a bit different. I think doing the same thing over and over again can make you a bit stale, and I like doing other things as well as play Rust. So yeah, I don't think it's particularly why I played a different game. I play different games all the time. I play Tarkov, play Crusader Kings or Football Manager. I play a bunch of games.
Football Manager?
Yeah, Football Manager's great.
You don't strike me as a Football Manager kind of guy.
Yeah, I've got more hours on Football Manager than Rust.
Really? What?
Yeah.
How many hours do you have on Football Manager?
Oh, 12,000 or something. There's a new one every year. It's like FIFA.
What? I didn't know that. Can't say I've ever dabbled in Football Manager.
Yeah, so I enjoy that. Haven't played much recently in the last year or so, but back when I was younger, I played a lot. So.
Are you looking to diversify your content then, I guess, a little bit if you're streaming more Arc Raiders and not Rust? Because for a long time you have been practically exclusively Rust. Is that something you're looking at doing, is kind of diversifying?
I mean, in any sort of business, diversification is good. If I could stream another game and my audience enjoyed me streaming that game and it was viable, then why wouldn't you look at something like that is my attitude. I think first and foremost, I think of myself as a content creator, and then secondary to that, I'm a Rust streamer.
Yeah.
Or a Rust YouTuber in part. I don't feel the need to just 100% stream one thing all the time. If I can do something different, I don't see an issue. If I can't stream something different because it's not viable, then I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I guess it's also kind of hard to take that hit a little bit when you stream something different and the viewership's not as good. It might be still good viewership, relative to streaming size, but sometimes you got to take that, that hit where it's a little bit down on numbers compared to what if you were playing Rust.
Yeah.
But in order to grow overall, you'd be willing to take that hit a little bit, I guess.
Oh, for sure. That's expected with anyone who's, basically built their entire audience off a single game, is that when you play a different game, there'll be a core audience that will will watch. But then there's like a portion of the audience that only wants to watch you play Rust. That's like completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like if you go in thinking that's not the case, you're going to be setting yourself up for a bit of disappointment.
Yeah. Are you hoping Ark stays around as a game that's viable to keep playing? Because obviously it's in its moment at the current time, and there's a lot of games that come in and go out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Do you think Ark has, that potential to be sustainable and like long term?
It's really hard to say. I think Ark is an absolutely awesome game, and I was really surprised at how many people in my community watched the stream and then went out and bought it themselves. Even people who were diehard Rust fans and viewers they'd come in and they'd basically say to me, "Oh, I'm not watching this. It's not Rust," jokingly, but they were, there was a tinge of truthfulness to the joke.
Yeah.
And a week later, they were on Ark basically saying they were wrong. So I don't know whether it's a great game to play, but is it a great game to watch is another question.
Yes.
Now, it's easy to say it's a great game to watch when you've got all the biggest streamers on Twitch streaming. There's 150,000 people in the Twitch section who have followed their communities there.
Yeah.
But
that's just mass numbers playing it as well. Like
100%.
If there's a lot of streamers playing it, there's going to be a lot of viewers, isn't there? Just from their base audience.
Exactly. So I'll bring it back to Rust for a second. Rust has been around for 13 odd years. That's incredible staying power. And that's a lot more difficult to do than just have a hype game for a few weeks. And I can't say right now whether that game has that potential. It has that potential. I don't know whether it will live up to that.
Yeah. I mean, Rust has that longevity a little bit because of the active development and stuff, and it's always been changing and improving to an extent, I guess.
For sure.
So I guess it's very much up to the development of the game and whether they actually keep investing in it more than anything.
Yeah, the game with the updates, it's obviously been a great thing. I mean, even just how it generates discussion and debates. And, there's definitely been changes that have improved the game immensely. I know you're a big fan of the automation change. I think that was a great change and things like that. So there's definitely been updates along the journey that have definitely added new elements to Rust. So I think it's been awesome. There's some changes I don't think are as good. Mm-hmm. Some could see them as improvements. Others see them as annoying.
Yes. Is this you, by the way, on the map?
I'm in the snow.
Okay. No, it's not you. I'm getting rocked by him now.
Where are you?
I'm near water treatment right now.
Okay, I'll run over
Actually,
there.
we can invite you remotely, actually.
Oh, true. See, there's an update.
Yeah, there you go. I invited you.
Okay, let me talk on that. So,
yep.
Rust was this survival game where you spawned in naked with a rock and torch, and you had to find your way. You had to make do. There was not these sort of oversimplifying quality of life changes where you can just add someone from a menu that for me breaks that immersion. The Rust was always about the immersion for me. I loved getting lost in the world and making even when I wasn't a content creator, I could tell you pretty vividly stories about wipes I had with just friends or people I met on the server. And I feel like that interaction just sort of got sucked into the void of changes, and vending machines for one is what I think really killed off player interaction, because everyone just uses a drone now.
I can see little things, I can understand the point of view of making it more accessible and easier, because it's always been that hardcore game that's hard to get into, and I guess business wise they want to make it so it's more appealing to the broader audience so that they can get more players. But at the end of the day, the beauty of Rust is those things that are making it difficult. Even obviously the recoil change that happened a few years ago was a big one, where it was lowered the difficulty to appeal to a broader audience, and I don't necessarily think that was a bad change, and I understand the point of view, but these little things spawning next to each other in your team and inviting each other remotely and stuff, it's not even quality of life, it's just taking away from the game a little bit more than anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's like QOL but gone a bit too hard.
Yeah.
As I said, oversimplifying. You just brought up the recoil change. The old recoil was difficult. It wasn't impossible, but it was difficult. And I definitely can empathize with new players that were coming in and fighting people like Tack.
Yes.
And there was a lot of people who had it down pat, and that would have been an incredibly challenging and discouraging introduction to Rust. it needed a change, but I don't know if the change we got was the change we needed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think they perfected the recoil, but I think, I mean, I might be in the minority of this opinion, but I do think it's in a better place in terms of literally just the recoil aspect, that change. I think it's a better place now than it was before.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly because the change happened and we don't have the alternative. If the change didn't happen, where would it be?
Yeah, true.
So it's hard to like fully assess, but I don't think that change itself was as negative, and I think the outroar about it was way out of proportion to what it actually was.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I mean, I still don't think they perfected the system, but
Yeah.
I also am not like someone who focuses heavily on PvP or anything like that, so I'm not necessarily the best opinion to have, I guess, at the same time.
Have an egg.
Have an egg. Thank you. Oh, I just ate it accidentally straight away.
It's all right. Have another egg.
Nice. Oh, that's right. When you're in the snow now, the food...
The food? Yeah, I just saw that. The food is
cool.
chilling in my hot bar.
I guess that's good. That's good quality of life updates.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is that going to bring you back to Rust?
Man, I never left Rust. I get asked, are you retired from Rust? Like, go into any Twitch chat and someone inevitably from the community will be in there. And the first question I'll get asked is, how's retirement? It's everything's so final. 2 games can coexist.
Yes. But that's also like the thing is you're going to have to cop that shit to be able to stream these other games.
Yeah. It's all part of it.
It's all part of it. They say it in jest, but also
exactly, of course.
I mean, I haven't uploaded that consistently on my main channel, but I've been uploading like pretty stringently, like once a week on the Yexom Yarn.
Yep.
And I got people in my Discord being like, have you quit, bro? Like, there's no uploads on the main channel, but like I'm uploading weekly somewhere else just because I'm doing something that's different. Like, I'm still doing Rust and people think I've quit. Like,
yeah,
just because you start doing something a little bit different, it's the end of the world. You're dead. Your channel's gone. It's not like that. But
no, for sure. And actually, I did miss something at the start when we were talking about like things in Rust. There's been a lot of whether it's intentional or unintentional, and a lot of discussion about the nighttime cycle. Mm-hmm. That for me is like, as a streamer who wants constant action on the stream and stuff to entertain people, is a real frustration that I've had with the game.
To me, it's crazy how like solid and defiant they are in changing it. Like, I understand that they want a nighttime, but they don't wiggle at all, and it's such a big discussion point.
I 100% understand having a nighttime, and I've put forward like suggestions and ideas, like constructive suggestions and ideas. Yes, look, I might have been strong on it on stream sometimes, complaining about it and bitching about it, but like ultimately, like I think I've put forward some constructive and like good suggestions about how nighttime could be improved. I've used other games as example, like Tarkov, for example, and more recently Arc Raiders, how those nighttime cycles play out where it's obscured but playable. That's the expression I tried to say multiple times.
Obscure but playable, but also still gives an advantage to people with stuff like night vision goggles and stuff.
100%.
There's definitely still that balance.
Exactly. There's a balance to be had. What I don't think is fun is having completely pitch black, especially for a game where you spawn naked on a beach. Because say people join a server. I mean, we joined this server, when we weren't in that phone call for 30 minutes before, and it was nighttime, and we just waited.
Yeah, we waited to record this video because it was nighttime.
So now think of like the average player joining a server. They've got 15 minutes every hour, maybe like a 20% chance of like loading into a nighttime. They're just going to instantly log off.
Yeah.
Like what they can do, run through, like they can't even see their screen.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this like style of nighttime we have. I understand we have night, but I don't understand the style of it.
Yeah, even if they like they don't budge on it at all. Like, they can make the cycle longer for daytime even. Like, I know that wouldn't be a perfect resolution in my eyes, but it would be something, like make daytime longer compared to nighttime.
It's a band-aid though, Yex.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, we just need to find a way.
But I'd prefer a band-aid than nothing at this point,
Yeah, but I'm not a developer. I don't know how hard this issue is to resolve, or if they even see it as an issue.
Yeah.
I know they want nighttime. I mean, there was some surrounding issues with nighttime as well, about the dusk and dawn being introduced, which is one of the recent changes where I felt nighttime got even more, I guess, buffed or like more difficult to just see. I don't know. I feel like a large portion of the community hasn't like, well, at least the creators and the viewers who watch me, who I've spoken to about it, I haven't really found a contrary opinion to nighttime. Like someone saying nighttime's fun, and I love it. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't get it
It's the thing as well. Like, not necessarily nighttime. Nighttime, I think, is an opinion that most people share, even if they aren't making content. But a lot of these opinions, sometimes you have to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, I know that me as a content creator, I'm not necessarily the average player.
Yeah.
And it's like, does this actually just not suit me because I want to make content and want, like, you know, action constantly?
Oh, for sure. And like you try and separate it. Like I remember, like I as I said, started playing a long time ago. I had a few years off, and then I came back in about like when COVID sort of like just before COVID sort of thing. And like I remember the old nighttime, which if you look back at videos is almost like it's like a fever dream.
It's night
like
and day.
Looking back at it, it's night and day. Exactly. It's I was still like annoyed by that nighttime back in the day, but compared to what we have now, I mean, I'd take it.
It kind of feels like they're
week.
accidentally just through other updates incrementally making it worse, and like it's just gotten to a point where it's just stupid now. But like not intentionally making it darker. But I feel like even the nightlight thing that they introduced, maybe that would have been like a year ago, like that blue haze that you're supposed to have at night.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's just incrementally disappeared over the year since it got implemented.
I feel like that disappears, disappears and reappears from update to update.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even sometimes I've found even server to server, like it seems to be.
I suppose like there's brighter nights when the moon's out, but it's so insignificant of a difference that it's like maybe one every 5 nights can be pitch black like they've got it now, but when the moon's out, you should be able to see your hand in front of your face, you know?
Yeah. I agree with you, and like. You know, as I said, I'm not a game developer. Like their job is way harder than, you know, we can all have our opinions on it. But at the end of the day, someone's got to do the coding. Mm-hmm. Someone's got to actually implement this stuff. It's always much more difficult to do than say.
Yeah, of course.
And I think like not many people like are they're conscious of that, but they're not conscious of it when they're formulating their opinions, including me.
It's easy. Yeah, it's much easier to talk about it than to do it.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's been so little inaction over however many years, it's been just bad now, and so many people talk about it.
I feel like it comes down to communication, trying to understand the direction. And I think like as I'm talking to you, like I'm formulating it more in my head. I don't know the direction we're heading anymore. Like I used to have a solid understanding of the direction Rust was heading, and now it's like I don't know. I couldn't tell you what the game will look like in Feb. And that's kind of unusual.
Even things like the deep sea update and stuff, it's like completely different to things they've done before, which is exciting for things that they could do, but also like, I don't know, it's a bit uneasy not knowing how it's going to look, right?
I mean, they're major updates, like with the jungle as well. Like that's a huge update. And I get they're a business, and I get they're a for-profit business. And like, I'm absolutely certain these massive updates generate a lot of income, which is completely fine. I have no issues with anyone, you know, running their business how they see fit. But like, are these massive updates like departing from the fabric of what made the game great in the first place? Like, at what point are we like losing the roots or the thing that made it great? Or what do we got here?
This is Yakov Classic here. Find it a cave.
Hey, dude, you set this one up, surely.
Yeah. We got to find some turrets to shoot out or something for you.
Yeah. We have to pick a turret before this is over.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying before, with the updates that we have, and thinking about it from like a content creator perspective, you kind of got to take yourself out of that.
Yeah.
Like for instance, the blueprint wipes. For me, that's like a really good change that blueprints wipe every wipe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a good thing, because I like jumping onto different servers to like pick a right server to get content on, and I like being on an even playing field. Or is that actually good for people who are playing the game normally, who don't want to invest stupid amount of hours like Rust kind of intends you to do?
Yeah, I see. I had thought that what was going to happen with this was the workbench changes were going to take place with the blueprint fragments. And then the trade-off was going to be that if you put something through a research bench, you'd get a discount, but the tech tree would stay the same, which would effectively encourage people to roam, find items, and
research,
put them through a research table. That way, you'd be rewarded for actually having explored and
Or going out and killing someone for that thing.
yeah, exactly. Killing someone with a Tommy when you've got a bow, and then you get rewarded by now you can research it for very cheap. That's how I thought it was going to work, like a risk and reward basis. But that's not how it's panned out. It's now turned into this, the tech tree's being watered down to really cheap. Oh, I'm dead.
Good one. You're a bit of a noob yourself, are you?
Dude, I'm wearing a bone helmet. It's the gloves on my hands. Bag me.
Oh, silly. That would be the way to do it, I think. But there's so many different opinions of ways to do it as well. Like,
yeah, for sure. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting an opinion out there or a thought. It's like Face Munch have said before that they read the ideas. They might not engage it. I mean, it would be impossible to engage or reply to every idea, but like they read them and like, they take them in and consider them. And so I truly believe that like they're passionate about their game. No one can ever question that.
And they are active in that sense.
And they are very active.
Compared to other dev teams especially, they are very active.
For sure. Like, and I don't think anyone could fault them for that. Like, they're absolutely like passionate about the game and very invested in it. So yeah, I just think sometimes maybe as just a theory, I have no idea. I think sometimes maybe listening to too many voices, and then we get these sort of updates that try and please too many people rather than just them in a room thinking about the update and like we're doing this. Maybe I don't know, but some of the updates are confusing. That is what makes you think like why would we do it like this, or like just naturally thinking about it.
It makes you wonder whether they have. I'm sure they do. Like have a long-term roadmap and grander vision for the game and where it's going to be in several years' time. Like,
why not share that with the community?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean,
that's what I was saying before about like the communication. Sometimes something that might be like the audience doesn't like or is a bad idea could just be rationalized and spoken about in a I know they use their like dev blogs and stuff to speak about some of the updates. Even just the rationale, like, hey guys, we like nighttime the way it is because of these reasons. If you don't like it that way, we're sorry, but that's the game we're trying to build. But just having that like communication is so important in my mind.
Yeah,
because that way people who are unsure about certain aspects of the game, especially people who are really invested in it, like creators or people who play it a lot, then can know the direction that the game's going.
Yeah, true. I guess they probably also just then would get a lot of shit added on top of it in terms of people not liking the direction it's going as well as the current updates that are happening. Like, they probably get enough shit as it is. Maybe they just want to keep their cards close to their chest because I guess it doesn't really matter, but in their eyes.
But if the update's going to happen anyway and people are going to be pissed off by it or happy by it or whatever it might be, you don't have to explain yourself, but like it's about just like community engagement and just like... just letting the playbase know where we're heading, because like, yeah, it's all well and good to be like, yeah, we're doing the water update this month, and like the water update's like when they first announced it, I thought, oh, that could be really cool, and everyone had a vision of what it was going to be. And what we're seeing on like the staging, for example, is completely out of left field in my mind. It's something I never would have imagined I'd ever see in this game.
Yeah,
and we're going to see it in this game. It changes the game like dramatically.
And there feels like there's been a lot more recent updates that have been big changes. Every month at this point feels like it's something that's like a very big change to the game, and it's the more big changes you do, the more risk you run of it being not necessarily received well, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I think, like I was mentioning about, like, they're obviously a business, and perhaps maybe the big updates bring more players in.
True.
Are more profitable for them as a business. Like,
stir more interest.
Not sure whether it's or it's just a pure game design thing. It's just coincidence. Who knows what the thinking is? We don't know is the answer. But like just hypothesizing.
What's the long-term vision for you then? Obviously we talked about how you're dabbling in other games and stuff like that. Is there a long-term vision if Rust keeps going in a direction that maybe you're not happy with or not vibing with as much? Is there long-term plans to be doing other stuff, or are you just kind of like taking it as it comes, trying variety, trying different things?
Well, like I love, like, I think I like, sometimes through the criticisms and the comments, people misinterpret as you don't like Rust, or you hate Rust, or like it has to be some extreme. Like I love Rust at the end of the day. Like, Rust has been a game I've played a lot of. like a lot.
Yes.
It's been my life. No, like it's been great. Like I absolutely love Rust, and like I wouldn't make comments about the game or like have ideas for the game if I wasn't passionate about it. If I didn't care, I wouldn't say a thing. Because like I want the game to succeed and I want it to have like a lot of players. That's better for like me as a player, and it's better for me as a content creator. I want the game to reach its potential and be the best it can. I don't want it to fall away or die out. Like I think truly every creator wants that. Every creator wants the game to succeed.
Yeah, of course.
But just sometimes the comments and criticisms don't seem like that. I'm sure that underneath
I think the developers know that as well at the end of the day. Like,
yeah, I think so. I think
because they've dealt with it for however many years now. They understand that people just want the best for the game.
Yeah, there's a big difference between sort of rage baiting and just like causing a stir and constructive feedback, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're mostly focused on, I guess, Twitch is your main focus, streaming.
Yeah, yep.
So where do you see that going? I mean, we've spoken a little bit in private about the state of Rust on Twitch and how you think there's potentially a dip at the moment in terms of viewership and stuff like that. Is that something that concerns you? Because obviously that is your income and your lifeline.
Look, like, it's an interesting one. Like, a lot of stuff on Twitch over the years I've been on it is cyclical. Like, things go up and things go down all the time. There's a significant dip at the moment, and there's many different factors that could play into that. It could be a matter of new games releasing. It could be a matter of the water update being pushed back that people were looking forward to, so they just held off and waiting for next month. It could be changes that were made recently, i.e. the workbench changes that people didn't vibe with, so they stopped playing. It could be creators that stopped creating, or creators that, new ones might have sprung up. And so there's many things that could bring, like, raise the viewership and lower the viewership. And they all sort of like, it's hard to dissect what has and hasn't affected the viewership as a whole on Twitch. The player base seems quite stable if you look at the analytics. So maybe it's just people just aren't wanting to watch as much content, or maybe there's just more content creators and the viewership spreads across more. So it's actually the same viewership. But yeah, like recently it looks like there has been a downturn. And I mean, if it ever got to the point where streaming the game became unviable, well, I'm fortunate enough to have a backup plan. So
yeah, I mean, that is the thing, is could be so many different things. And I guess a rising tide raises all ships, where if a lot of people are doing well in the community, then it probably passes on to other things. But the opposite is also probably true, where if there's less people streaming the game and people are playing different games as well, like Ark's been very popular with Rust players, if there's less people in total playing it, then there's probably less viewers that are jumping between Rust streams as well, so probably contributes a little bit to the drop in overall numbers.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so many factors.
Yeah, I genuinely think like the best times in Rust is when everyone's doing well. Like that's like without doubt, like when all creators are like, enjoying themselves on Twitch, at least what I've seen is when there's a lot of like really healthy, active communities on Twitch. Generally, the section and everyone in the section has benefited from that.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about then you have potentially a backup plan. It's not necessarily a backup plan, but more what you were doing before you were a content creator, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably the original plan more than anything.
Probably. Actually, it was probably plan D by that point, but yeah, go on.
I don't know how much you say on stream about like what you were doing previously, but do you say that you were a lawyer, or do you say that you were just doing corporate stuff?
No, I say I was a lawyer. I did, for some reason at the panel, I said I did corporate stuff because...
Yeah, I did note that.
Yeah, I just felt it was just... I didn't want to big note myself on the panel. Sometimes when people say they're a lawyer, they say it with a twang,
Yeah. How long were you doing law for then before you somehow made that miraculous switch to content creation? Because that doesn't seem like a very like linear switch or a very normal switch to go from being a
not at all.
to content creation.
No, but I guess unnatural things happened in the world at those times, and COVID hit. So, everything was open to changing. But like, I did it for 5-6 years before I guess I resigned. I guess I'll just go into the story of how I fell into it. So obviously COVID hit. My relationship, like many others, hit the terps. Was single very early on into COVID, and had to find the time to fill in the lockdowns in Melbourne, which were significant. I think we were the most locked down city in the world. It was a nightmare. I was trying to find a decent job in a very shocking job market at that time, and got very lucky with the connections I that had formulated and the networking I'd done at uni and stuff like that. So worked during COVID, mostly from home. Then there was like a transition back to sort of new age way of working, which was like split from the office, but like I guess it was 2 days from home, 3 days in the office kind of thing, and it was more casual and all that kind of stuff. So it was all very, very new. It was a very weird time to be an office employee, I can tell you that. But at the same time, like while I was working, like, working in the law is very consuming, much like content creation in a lot of ways, but you basically don't find yourself having much of a life outside of your job. You'd work extremely long hours. The work was very demanding, and, a lot of times work that required like a lot of attention and care. So
how the hell did you end up balancing that with content creation for a little while then?
Well, this is the part which I don't even understand how I did it. During COVID, I never really watched content before. I hadn't played Rust in a few years when COVID hit, and I became single. So I got back into video gaming, and
that seems like a very much a pathway to Rust. COVID plus becoming single. That's
Rust personified, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So like I just got back into playing, just very casually, just for fun. Met a few like other people on probably Rustified AE long or medium or Scraplands back in the day, or something like that, and just got playing with them. And I remember one time the first ever Twitch drops came out, and my mate said to me, he's like, my mate Chappie, he'll love it. I said his name. And he said, oh, you got to get on the Twitch drops, you get free skins. And I said, oh really? Oh yeah, I'll give it a look. I don't have a Twitch account. This is in whatever the first Twitch drops were. So I think
I remember those first drops were like you got like a loot crate, and then you opened the crate and it was a skin you got.
Yeah, it might have been that one. I think it was sunglasses from memory.
Yeah, it was. Those were like the original ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even have a Twitch account at that point. Like, absolutely nothing to do with content creation. I had no ambition to be a content creator. Nothing of the sort. So when I was playing with my mate and he said about Twitch drops, I remember I went on Twitch, and I think it must have been like dumb o'clock at the end of a wipe, because there was only 2 Rust streamers on that had, big viewership, well, at the time, and it was Hutnik and Shaki. So I don't know what time it would have been or what day, but I do vividly remember that they were the 2 that I watched briefly. Had no idea who either of them were or anything about what they'd done or any of that stuff. Then how it more so came to be was still wasn't really like sold on it. Didn't even get the drops. I think I just went on there not logged in, to be honest. Didn't get that first round. And I started watching YouTube videos. I actually fell into watching Oblivion, who my mate Chappie again recommended. And then I fell into watching Prince Vids.
Prince Vids.
And
dude, that's funny because I had Skier on. I don't know if you know Skier. He like does Rust horse stuff.
Yeah.
He also said he was watching Prince Vids when he got into Rust. That's funny.
Yeah. So it was Oblivion and Prince Vids, and then I liked Evil Worst as well for the base building, and Blueprint. I remember watching early Blueprint videos and really enjoying them. But there was one time when I watched Prince Vids where he did some eco rating, and I was like, I loved the video. Like it was I don't.
What? Dude.
There's no way, man.
That's so funny.
I'm so far from you again. Dude, do you know how many times I've walked on landmines on stream and everyone's like, oh, he's done it again. And now it's happening in your yarn, dude.
What is a landmine doing there?
So anyway, Prince Vids was doing some eco rating in a video, and I can't remember whether it was a duo with Seb. I know he did do a few, but I didn't know about Sebby at this time. And I literally put into YouTube Rust eco rating, and about 10 different thumbnails came up.
I just died to a landmine.
No way.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So yeah, about 10 videos popped up of a guy called SebbyK, and I was like, oh, let's watch a few of these. Back then, when Seb was putting their videos, they weren't like they were today. They were different. They were a bit shorter, and it was just like he was like solving puzzles. Like the bases were like puzzles, and he had to get in there as cheap as possible. And I just loved the idea of just being able to like stay primitive and just get endgame loot. Like it was just like, it was fun to watch. He made it entertaining and I loved it. And I thought, oh, I wonder if he streams on Twitch. By this point, I already had a Twitch account because I bought into the whole drops thing, but I didn't really watch anyone at that point on Twitch. It was mostly YouTube. Didn't watch any Australian YouTubers. Stimpy came later. I watched Stimpy and Spoon well after I was like in Seb's community on Twitch. And after, I think it was about like a year or so of watching Seb, he made me a mod. And
Yakov moderator arc.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, cool. I'll help you out. Still working at the law firm at this point, and just did it in my, got home from work. Seb would be live, moderate, watch for a bit, dinner, get to bed was generally the schedule. And I remember one day there was a lot of code rating videos going around on YouTube. And this is back before they've made the changes that nerfed it. And I said to Seb, you could do an eco raid by code rating someone. You don't even need wood. And I said, yeah, I think you can make a great video out of it. And I gave him basically the system that another Aussie guy who I was playing with at the time basically tried it and got it to work. And he basically had the top used pin numbers in order and gave me that. So I forwarded that on the Seb. I said, yeah, just use this and just go through it. It's easier with more people though. And Seb says, oh, well, do you want to come do it with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll come help you, sure. Because I was playing Rust. I enjoyed Seb, and I thought it would have been a fun thing to join him. So I went and joined him, just played the white, didn't think anything of it. Like I was off, I didn't stream it, didn't record it. And it ended up being Seb's most viewed video on his channel, which he'll love me mentioning again because it's a mantle he's been trying to take off me for a while.
Is it still his most viewed video?
I think so. I think it's got like 1.8 million now.
Yeah, right.
After that video, like I was in his channel, moderating, and people were saying in the comments on the YouTube as well, like, oh, who's that guy with the voice, and who's that other guy, and stuff like that. And it's Yakov, it's Yak, like whatever. And then I remember I got a DM from one of his viewers, Alice Starling was her name, and she said, you should stream. You should give it a go. Like, I think you'd be great. You did really well in the video. I was like, oh, sure, like whatever kind of thing. Like I literally no ambition to be a content creator at all. And I was like, oh, I play anyway. Like I may as well chuck it on stream. Maybe it'd be fun to play to an audience, give it a try, see how it goes. So I started streaming, literally just a camera thrown on, shit mic. Everything was terrible. Mm-hmm. Stuck together with sticky tape and spit.
It's the best way to start.
Yeah, horrible stuff. Like I think I had one monitor and I was alt-tabbing. Like it was terrible. Actually, no, I had two monitors. I think I can't remember. It was terrible though. And I had a couple of viewers, and I really enjoyed like chatting to them. Like while I was playing, I thought it was really fun, and it was like filled sort of like a bit of a social void that I hadn't had because of COVID and the job being demanding. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought it was really cool. So I just kept doing it. More viewers came, and then more viewers came,
and then they started giving you money.
Yeah, then they started supporting me, and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
But then how do you go about at that point when it's first initially a thing? Like, what is your schedule looking like if you're coming home from work and these long hours of, well, not coming home from work, but working from home or whatever you're doing? How are you then balancing that and starting this at the same time? Because it's like a bit of a time investment on its own.
So I'm the kind of person, if I enjoy something, really, I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. Obviously, like I didn't dislike my work. I didn't dislike being a lawyer, but like it was my job.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was what I did for a living. And it was something I just did. I wasn't like energetic about it, but streaming, I was really like passionate about. I really enjoyed it. I still do to this day. And like the same things I felt when I first streamed, I still feel today when I go live and talk to my audience. Like that sense of like entertaining other people, having that social interaction. I love all that stuff. It's like almost the primary over playing Rust for me. Like Rust is the thing I have on. That is, the backdrop.
Facilitating that conversation, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I started streaming for 2 to 3 months, and I got up to about 20 viewers, and then I stopped.
Okay, I didn't know.
For a little bit, because it became too difficult to balance both things. And I stopped for about 5 months. And like at this point, it was really nothing. Like it really hadn't developed much at this point. Like I think I'd got to about 15 to 20 average viewers. It was really entertaining and fun, but ultimately it was too hard to balance. So I went away, had a break, And then I had the urge to do it again. I was like, no, I need it. I want to stream. Like, I have to find a way to make it work. So I came back, and that's when the viewership started growing basically month on month quite strongly. And I was becoming like more consistent, I guess. And the way it would work is I'd go to work, I'd get on a train at 7 a.m. and be back at home if I was lucky by 7, 8 p.m. And I'd stream till 4 a.m. and have 3 hours sleep. And I did that for 3 to 4 months.
And you were still being a lawyer on that kind of sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I was completely fine. I was completely functional. But obviously that you can't do in the long term because your body will just give up.
Yeah.
That's significant.
So would you, at that point, have been, do you think your viewership was growing significantly because you were playing a lot with Sebby?
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt that the initial, boost or initial, viewership came from exposure to Seb's community. Denying that would just be refusing to accept the reality.
Yeah. So you leached off him.
You put that in, I'll fucking kill you. No. He has a very high viewing video because of my idea.
Yeah, okay. So he owed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
No. I think any creator, as I said before, when the whole section does well, everyone does well. And that's not because, everyone's doing well because they're living in silos. It's because creators that might find someone might not find the creator they really love on the first go. Or might not find the creator who's going to be, the viewer they watch a lot of. It might be the second creator or the third creator they find.
Die?
Oh, I'm dead.
And also, on top of the fact that, they might not find the creator they like in the first or second time, it's also collaboration is, the best way to grow, especially on Twitch.
For sure. And, when I first played with Seb, again, and I started playing with him more regularly, I just have to stress, I had no ambition to be a content creator. Yeah. It's not like I had a plan to be a content creator. There's no why would I start when I'm 31 if I had an ambition to be a content creator? I would have done when I was 20.
Yeah. And it's also not like Seb had an issue with you, growing from him as an audience,
The thing that Seb always wanted was he wanted the YouTube videos, right? That was what he always said. I'm a YouTuber. So I think it would have been a different story if I was playing with Seb to help him get a story, which is what I loved doing. That's what I really enjoyed the process of getting these great stories or these ideas up so Seb could make a video of it and then I could watch the video. I loved that. That was what I really enjoyed doing. So I was always very set on let's get Seb a good video. That was my goal. And I think that comes across in a lot of the videos I've played with Seb and Sora, where we were all really set on getting the video to a point where it was really entertaining for the audience. And, I was part of that audience. So I loved watching it too. And then, it just so happened that, obviously I was, good friends with Seb. We still are good friends. And the exposure through the audience at the start came that way. I definitely was conscious of that. And I didn't want to just be, as it progressed, and this is probably towards where I started to think about resigning, I didn't want to just be Sebby's sidekick, to be honest with you. I didn't if I wanted to do this, I had to be my own guy. I didn't want to just ride the coattails forever
and also riding the coattails and just being that is also putting a ceiling on your ability to grow. The ceiling is Sebby's viewership, and then you can't go past that without then going and doing your own thing. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So it's I wanted to grow my own thing. I'm my own person. I'm a different kind of person as well. Still wanted to play with Seb. It wasn't nothing about not wanting to play with Seb, but I wanted to do stuff that I liked watching, but myself.
Yes, of course.
So I started doing a lot of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
While still playing with Seb and playing with a lot of other people as well. I tried to branch out, and Sebby doesn't do a lot of collabs, so I didn't actually really get to meet many people through Seb.
As a creator who's focusing on YouTube, it's hard to collab with people who also want to do YouTube. So you were kind of probably the perfect person for him in the fact that you didn't really care about the YouTube side of things. You just wanted to stream. And
yeah, I think so.
That's a perfect relationship there because you're not competing for each other's YouTube video at that point as well.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think that's also with Sora the same thing. Sora was Sebby's main duo for the longest time, and still ultimately is, and that was the same thing. Sora streamed, so me and Sora were basically in that same sort of that boat where we loved helping Seb, we loved the videos, we were passionate about the community, and yeah, we just loved being part of it. It was something to do. It was entertaining and fun. And ultimately, yeah, I wanted to grow a bit more. So I wanted to do my own thing. You know, I loved e-curating as well. So there was obviously always going to be comparisons. But it never affected me or Seb. We were fine, you know, between each other. There was never any issues or anything like that. We always supported each other.
Can we say there was like massive beef, please, so I can stir it up for the video?
Massive beef?
Yeah, you guys hate each other now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck
you went
that
your
guy.
own ways, you know.
I'll tell him tonight when we're playing together. He's a fuckwit.
Yeah. I guess you were probably fortunate that a lot of things fell in line then in terms of being able to ignite your passion for the sort of thing, because you didn't really know that you would enjoy that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess a lot of things fell in line for it to happen.
No, there's no doubt about that. 100%.
Which I think happens for a lot of people, like myself included. COVID was a big catalyst for me getting into content creation as well. And I don't think that's a unique thing either. I think a lot of people probably had that same thing with COVID. A lot of things have to go right for it to end up realizing that you not only enjoy doing this, but have the ability to do this, because some people don't. You have to be a certain type of personality and stuff to be able to get into content creation and be successful with it. So
you've got to really want to do it. And I think, you know, as I said, I did it because it filled voids of like social interaction and some, you know, out in the suburbs, like social alienation at times. It filled some of that void. Obviously not completely. Like obviously you still need to have in-person like interactivity, but like it definitely like, and I think it gives a lot of viewers on Twitch the same thing. I think there's a lot of people there for that reason. For that sense of community and friendship, and like I think like it just absolutely is what it is. I guess pushing the story forward rather than dragging it out is basically I got to the point where my community grew to I'd say a modest level. Like I was around probably the 50 to 100 viewer range at this point. So yeah, so basically I streamed for that first 3-month batch, had the break for 4 to 5 months while I still was struggling to balance the job and the streaming, then went back to it. So the second start, I guess, where I basically again started from nothing, and then was much less connected with Seb at this point.
Yeah,
just because I was so busy. I'd say from like 5 to 6 months from that point is when I had about probably like 50 to 100 viewers, and like, but like a very generous and supportive community, a community that, like I genuinely felt wanted me to succeed and loved being there, and like it felt great. Like
So at what size or how successful were you being when you decided to properly resign from being a lawyer then? Because that's a pretty big decision, obviously. Like that stability and security is like a big thing. For
sure. So I think I was at 100 average viewers at the point, but I wouldn't look at it at CC as like the CCV being the determining factor.
Yeah.
There was other factors involved in that. And like, I loved like working in my job. It was a good job. It was very fun. I got to work with one of the best partners at a great firm in the area I wanted to work in. That is like a blessed position when you've gone through COVID looking for a role in the law.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like, you know, I had it good. I just enjoyed content creation more. So, you know, my community wanted me to stream more. I wanted to stream more. So I basically said, you know, the one thing that you know, I've got a career. This needs to be viable. Like it just like it's pure. You know, I need to be able to make a living. I can't, you know, essentially pause a career to do this if it's not gonna, you know, if I'm not gonna live broke to do this, because that's gonna make me, you know, unhappy.
Didn't you set you had a goal on stream, didn't you?
Yeah, so
that you had to hit before you quit your job.
There was a lot of like there was a lot of push basically with me and the community about jokingly about like resigning, and I hit partner I think in June of 2023, and I think that month support was significantly up. It was like pretty. I think it was like. It must have been like about 1,000 subs. Like it was a really like it was a milestone. Like it was a significant amount of support. Like support, to be honest with you, I never thought I'd ever even get close to. To be honest, when I put my stream on, I never thought anyone would watch.
Yeah.
I never thought anyone would want to, you know, why would anyone watch? You know, you've got other, I remember at the time you've got Spoon streaming, you've got, you know, H-June, Blueprint, you've got all these guys who are super established and like incredibly entertaining. And I mean, even Seb. I mean, you've got all these guys who are just like amazing, like very experienced content creators.
Do you think, obviously, I don't think it's a secret that the support you received, especially at that time, was very significant and maybe a little bit of an outlier in terms of, the amount you were receiving. Do you think that there was certain contributing factors to that? Like maybe you're a bit older and you draw maybe a more mature crowd or something like that?
I definitely think that like my audience is one that like relates to me, like how I am. Like I guess my mannerisms and my jokes and things like that. I guess that attracts people like more in my age bracket. I presume.
Yeah.
But then like at the same time, there's people who watch me of all ages. Like I've definitely had teenagers who have been long-term members of the community, and I've had people who are 50 plus part of the community. Which all communities have those like wide age ranges. So I wouldn't put it down to just like the more mature age audience, having obviously the ability to support me to that level. But like, people have got to want to support you. They've got to want to believe in the creator they're watching. And they, creators are really intelligent. They want more content. They know like this stuff isn't. Someone has to do it. Someone has to spend their time in their life creating it. So people understand that. I've been very lucky, and I ultimately really lucky to have such a wonderful and supportive community. I can't take any credit for like what they do. Like,
yeah,
they're I've just, all I can say is I'm lucky. Like I try and entertain people and have fun and brighten up people's days, and that's it.
Do you ever worry? Does that worry you a little bit though as well? The fact that like, I mean, maybe it's not as much a big deal now because you are very much more established, but maybe at that time when it was maybe relying a little bit on the generosity of people, would that be a concern maybe that there's one day where there isn't as many generous people in the chat and suddenly a month's looking worse? Like, was there a concern for you?
I mean, in terms of like the financial side of things, there's definitely months that are higher than others, but it's about like in terms of managing your money. Like, obviously if I had like a really great month, like obviously my drop month was like a huge like amount of income that month.
How much did you make? How much money did you make from the drops, Yakov?
Oh, about $10.
Yeah, at least.
Times a couple. There's a little bit, but like, you got to be smart with your money in this, because like at the end of the day, we're discretionary spend. We're the first thing to go when the economy turns to shit. Mm-hmm. And people have to
at least you'd hope
smarter with their money. I mean, we are generally.
Yeah.
Well, we should be.
Yes.
So you got to just be smart. Like when the support's there, like obviously be super grateful for it, but like save for a rainy day as well. Don't like, I never like operate on the impression that the generosity of my community will remain.
Yeah.
Like, or that, people move on from people as well. People move on from communities. Like it's just how it is. Like I'm very grateful for it. And I mean, it continues to be fantastic. And I love doing what I do. So it keeps me doing it, and it's fantastic. But like, I don't ever rest on my laurels on that as well. I don't ever go like buy myself a new car, or like I don't ever go on extravagant holidays or anything like that. I live very modestly and within my means. And, the idea being that the support, whilst might have been clumped into a small portion of time, is there to support me over a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got a very generous community for yourself, but you've also, looked at things like charity work and stuff like that as well, which your community has also been pretty generous with. Is that something that you like look to do as a position of privilege to be able to, get your audience together to do these sorts of charitable things? Like you've done a bunch of charity streams now, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've usually like once a year we do like we run some like charity for like a cancer foundation or something like that. That sort of stems from like I've had some like family members who have died from brain cancer and things like that. So it's been something that's been pretty like significant in my life, and it's actually amazing when we did our first charity run that like how many people in the community had been affected by it, either themselves, a family member, a friend, just someone they knew. It's actually I was really surprised because it's something that like has affected a lot of people, but I don't think a lot of people talk about it, because why would you, right?
Yeah,
like it's not really the things you sort of bring up. So but with the community when we first did it, really like people shared their stories and bounded together, and it was just amazing. And like I knew that was like something like really special that we'd done together, and we raised like a good amount for the charity, and it was just fantastic. So it's something like I like to do.
Yeah.
At least once per year, just like try and give back something that like can make the world a little bit of maybe a little bit better. And as I said, a lot of people in the world, not just my community, have been affected by cancer. So including myself. So I wanted to pick something that I was passionate about, making a difference within.
What do you think of this base?
What's in here?
The only thing I can see is this wall here.
Oh God. Oh, okay. Hang on. Come on.
Is this wall's here, soft side?
I mean, we may as well.
This is right up your alley, isn't it? This is the sort of shit you love.
This is nice. Yeah, this is good.
Obviously, we talked a bit about streaming and stuff. You also have dabbled in long form content as of recently, and also like your YouTube, and a lot of your audience maybe is based off your YouTube and your short form content, which is a bit of a unique story at this point. It's coming from short form content on YouTube specifically. I mean, a lot of people come from TikTok, I guess, as well nowadays, but shorts specifically and doubling down there was probably your biggest thing, I guess. Maybe TikTok a bit as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know a thing about too about this because it's about the time we met.
Yes.
And you've been modest with your comments there, but you were a massive part of that.
I tried to help you.
Look, let me tell the story.
Okay. When did we meet?
You played a white with Sebby. It was the white where you had the photo with the clan and you were hidden in the photo. Mm-hmm. And then I think shortly after, you must have either been watching Seb recently after or just before, because I must have played a white with Seb, and you must have said, "Oh, another Aussie guy, I'll reach out." Yeah. Because you messaged me and said, "Hey, like, you were one of the first guys to ever reach out." Like,
really?
Yeah.
I remember coming to your stream once. I didn't know who you were. Maybe I came into your stream and then reached out to you. I'm not sure. I can't remember what happened, but yeah.
I think you DM'd me. I think you did from memory, but either way, like you were one of the first people to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, like just get to know, like, who are you? What's up? Like, nice to meet you," kind of thing. I was like, that's really cool. Anyway, we end up lining up a wipe, and I think it was we looted an airdrop wipe, or so, like we counted an airdrop or something.
That's right. Yeah. When I was making second channel videos, yeah,
and we got along, like became friends, and then I think YouTube Shorts, like it must have been within 2 or 3 months. I remember it was like basically becoming like a brand new thing. Everyone used to do shorts on their long form that went onto the shorts feed or something weird like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember like looking at your channel and you had a monstrous amount of views on these shorts.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, like I've got to ask Yexom, like how did you do that kind of thing? And because my shorts sucked. Mine were terrible. They got no views. And I thought that were, it's funny. You think something's great. Until you look back and it just sucked.
Oh yeah.
So I asked you for some advice, and you were really generous with your support and advice, and helped me a lot. And I tried to implement some of the things you taught me. And
dude, I remember that like one of your first shorts. It was like something to do with oil rig, where you're like on oil rig countering someone, and there was one of you at launch site. And I remember talking about them with you. Dude, I don't know why I remember that so like vividly. That like first conversation.
There's a guy on the roof here. Hang on, I'm about to kill a guy. On the roof
of the base we were on.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Sorry, what were you saying about the shorts? Oh, the oil rig one.
Yeah. I just remember those first shorts you had and how we did a lot of work on them, didn't we?
Yeah. There was a bit to do, bit to learn, which is I love learning. I love I don't care if someone tells me something shit.
I mean, you have to have that, to learn. Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's a skill in content creation as whole. It's like say to anyone watching who wants to get into content creation, if you don't have a thick skin, it's going to be tough. You just need honesty around you. People who are going to tell you what they really think and whether someone's got more experience. And like Yexom did obviously at that time, and he was willing to share his knowledge and what he'd learned about YouTube. And so and that was a massive part of why my viewership grew on Twitch. I'd say the early uptake of shorts and my shorts ultimately becoming a thing that people enjoyed. People remember big, I mean? I don't know why I said it like that. It was not pre-planned. I think I got bored of doing my voiceovers and I just started putting inflections on words for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's here. Hang on. Oh, I didn't kill him. I DB'd him, but he's not dead.
Does he live there?
I don't know. I think he does. So yeah, like obviously, like I was like, I remember you, Yex, saying to me you were really proud of like when the shorts started to perform well. But I'd say not even at their peak. Like that was when they started to get 50K to 100K views, and it was like, I started to believe. Really, I was like, wow, this could, we could actually like make shorts that people want to watch,
Yeah.
rather than,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. But make videos as a whole. So like you start like changing from what you think people are going to watch to actually what people are going to watch in your mindset. Like you start thinking about more the audience. That's how that came about, and that really helped like grow my exposure, so people knew I existed, because it's really hard as a content creator when you're starting out to like get that initial exposure. Obviously you can get it through the collabing, but like there's like other ways you can do it through like shorts and TikTok and YouTube, like anything like that can be a benefit. But like there's a lot of advice that sort of gets spun around at the moment, is just like clip everything and post it everywhere. I don't think just like posting stuff everywhere.
It has to be way more conscious than that. Like you might have a clip that hits occasionally because it just happened to be good for the algorithmically. Like it happened to be. Oh god, this guy's coming towards me. He shot out all the twig, by the way. Like you might hit a clip eventually that, or 1 in 20 that's actually a good clip just because you got lucky. But
yeah,
there's a lot more to it than just posting clips. I mean, I guess you can just do two methods of just mass uploading, and then there's a method of actually being more thoughtful with it.
Yeah, like ultimately when you're starting out, like the goal is just to get exposure. So, people are aware you exist. Like it's not even a matter of, they haven't even decided at this point if they want to watch you if you're the type of content but it's brand awareness, right? Like if people don't know you exist, it's very hard in a Twitch section where, a lot of people are stuck on 1 or 2 viewers to get people to click on your stream, because they've got no idea, they've got no impression of who you are or what you're about. So you've got to try and build that somehow proactively. And that's what I was thinking at the time. I was a little bit higher than 1 or 2 viewers at that point, but like I still wanted to grow. I loved the challenge of trying to grow. Like I never saw it as like a negative thing, like, oh, I've only got like 30 viewers, or I've only got 50 viewers. I never had that attitude. I always had the attitude that, wow, I've got 50 viewers, can we get some more?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of content creators beat down on themselves because they're not where they want to be. But I don't think that's the right attitude. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that many viewers, but there's no reason why you can't.
Short form, you did that for a long time. I mean, you're still doing shorts occasionally. It turned into more like tutorial-based stuff, I guess. Tutorial statistics, that sort of thing. Like,
we just sort of started experimenting with things that, like, I was looking at a lot of YouTube channels from other languages as well in the Rust section. So there's a Russian YouTuber and a Turkish YouTuber who I actually spoke to. The Turkish YouTuber, we actually shared ideas using Google Translate. Because we were both basically we were basically both like looking at each other's channels and doing similar things as each other. So I decided to reach out to him and say g'day and get to know him. It was a very tough conversation, but we both had mutual respect for each other, because I wanted to obviously present things to the English audience that were working in other languages, and he wanted to do the same with the Turkish audience, because there's literally zero crossover with each other. We aren't competing with each other at all. I don't like that like attitude anyway of competing. But like on YouTube, I think it's more prevalent than
for sure.
Than on Twitch. I don't see Twitch as a competition. Some people might disagree with me on that, and that's completely valid. There's definitely arguments to say it is. But anyway, so I tried to get ideas from sources outside of the English sort of space, and something that did work was a few features. It was like more like the informational ones and subtitling. And what I found that a lot of people were doing, where they were using AI voices to present the information, which was just an immediate thing that could be improved on by recording a 30-second voiceover. So I didn't see that as a difficult thing to do. It fitted around streaming, which is, as you know, quite a grind in terms of time spent. So I saw that as a way to like, oh, this is a new thing, like early uptake of YouTube Shorts. These aren't too difficult to prepare or make. I had a really talented editor who was helping me at the time, who was really passionate about making the shorts. And we worked really well as a team, and it wouldn't take too long. And those shorts kind of grew over time and morphed into the point that they became like little cinematic productions towards probably, I'd say, mid 24, or actually no, even later, maybe late 24. That they became like it was like high. It became high effort. It went from like just throwaway clips to like taking, trying to take shorts seriously as a thing, because I think there was a real slow uptake like of people taking shorts seriously as like a medium for content creation. I think the person who really broke the seal was Pirate Software.
Yeah.
Because he literally exploded off shorts, and then Queso exploded off TikTok, which was effectively shorts as well. So I think then it became in the wider consciousness of like, okay, this is actually like necessary to include in stuff I do with my content. Now you see like pretty much every Rust content creator is doing shorts to some degree, especially the YouTubers.
I think that niche you had you still have of the, giving the stats on how many headshots it takes to kill someone with this, that sort of thing. Like you said, it fits around making long form content because it's kind of quick and easy, but also like everyone just at the moment, and it's kind of a thing just to upload your clips of, oh wow, I went deep on this base, and it's like, how many times can you watch someone go deep? And unless you're actually a really good player who's doing that consistently, you can't differentiate yourself.
But even consistently, how many times can you like? So Rust, it's a video game. There's a finite amount of things you can do, and yes, Rust is one of the best games of all time in terms of making a story, but there's only so many times you can watch someone get revenge on a clan before it's just the same thing over and over. Where the actual like creativity in content creator comes in is like, how do you make that engaging? How do you make that entertaining? How do you take that like that story that's like well told and make it unique? And like with the shorts, obviously like gameplay clips is like the absolute base and what everyone would do. And it's just usually quick plays and things like that and funny moments and things like that. Actually, another creator who used clips to get a lot of exposure was Stankrat, who's a Tarkov streamer. He did incredibly well on YouTube Shorts, doing funny, different style of Tarkov play. Like he ratted extracts.
They have to be unique though. Like people do the most like low effort thing they can possibly do at this point, where it's just like, 30-second clip of me playing Rust, where something kind of happens, but no, it's just Rust at the end of the day,
Yeah, and I don't think there's an issue with doing that. Like if you fire off a lot of clips like that and that's your content, like I don't think that's an issue.
True. Yeah.
Like my content isn't.
You're trying to get every single one to hit. They're just uploading mass clips to hope that 1 in 20 hits.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. That's right. But it depends what the content is. Like my shorts were nothing like what my stream was. It was completely disconnected from who I actually am. Like my personality was probably in the voiceovers, and that sort of was captured in it. But like, the informational stuff was sort of just like, it was just a bit of fun. I mean, some of the information's not even useful.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to know how many arrows it is to kill someone in a heavy pot helmet, but it's fun to know.
Sure, I do.
It's fun to know. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone killing a heavy pot helmet with an arrow, but it's interesting to have that information in your back pocket. And I think a lot of people, I remember watching Jafar, who's an informational Rust YouTuber, and I think there's a few others now, but it used to be Jafar was the main guy I'd go to watch stuff. And you'd end up having to watch like this 15, 20, and this is not any diss on Jafar at all, but you'd have to watch a 15, 20 minute video to find, and then you have to flick through it to find the information you actually were there for.
Yeah.
And like he is well comprehensive and really well spoken and presented the information beautifully. But I found that there was nothing like that in shorts. And if you could package the information up from a 15, 20 minute video and stick it in 30 seconds into the shorts feed and just get people the information they want as quickly as possible, then like that's an alternative option for them.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to flick through a 15, 20 minute video or watch the whole thing, then they could have that as an option. If people just want to save a short or share a short with their friend, hey, watch this. This is like how many satchels it takes to do this. So we don't have to like look on Rust Labs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We can just like refer to the short quickly. We don't have to, Google search anything, or like we can just look at this and that will tell us. I think a lot of people did that.
I mean, there's definitely people that have kind of copied what you do now, but nothing to the extent of like for Jafar, that would make so much sense to do exactly what you're doing on his channel.
For sure.
And it's interesting that no one does, really.
I think actually the people that not copied, I mean, because look, at the end of the day, everything's derivative, nothing's original.
Yeah.
Like there's it'd be completely like egotistical to say that I'm not influenced by anyone else. Like
Yeah.
I'm a mixture of a ton of people, and that keeps being added to over time. I think every creator is like that. I think everyone's had people that they love or watch. You know, for example, Throat with General Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
And is another great example of an influence that's really obvious. So I think with like shorts like that, it's more been the official server branch channels that have taken
Yeah,
that on.
that's very true, actually. It's really interesting how they all do that now, but I guess they've seen that as an avenue for, like, exposure, and it's just something that they can make easily.
For sure. And like I have no issue with people like being influenced by my work just as I'm influenced by others. So, but I think it has been more the official servers. And I think what they saw was that informational video can get high viewership and big exposure,
Yeah.
which would in then would basically be advertising for their server branch.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense for an official server that's trying to advertise to present that information because it's within their sort of realm.
Especially things like update previews and that sort of thing as well is a big thing. Which like this is
Yeah, and Rustified's done that for years on Twitch.
Yeah.
So
and Rustified's always really been at the front of it, like Bugs and is it Bugs, I think?
Yeah,
like
Bugs,
he's been doing like that blog for since Rust began of the update stuff. Like it's just the modern age of how to present it, I guess.
Yeah, he does the update stream with Miss D and Artemis.
Yeah. And they've been doing that every month for God knows how long. So
long time.
Can you see through the gap to there?
I can see the TC.
Can you see him in there? No.
He might come out.
He knows I'm here. He saw me as well.
I don't want to say
it. Here we go. We can talk about cheating if you want.
I don't necessarily want to, but I'll say a quick thing.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's almost like unbelievably bad. I don't know if it's going to get better.
Yeah, you reckon? I mean, do you think that's just a state of gaming currently, or do you think Rust in particular is not dealing with it the best way they can?
I think it's a state of gaming in general, but I also think games need to be developed with anti-cheat in mind from the start.
Yeah.
And I don't think cheating was as big an issue when Rust was in its early, like the current version of Rust was in its early stages as it is today. Whilst the common thing is, EAC shit, or like FacePunch isn't doing enough and they don't care. Like that might be like the catchphrase of the day in relation to that stuff. I just don't feel like they could have ever envisaged the issue becoming as serious as it is, or like even envisaging that people were going to be as desperate to cheat as that buying hardware to stick in their PC and like giving their credit card information to third-party websites in Russia. Like as if like anyone could have envisaged the problem growing to that level.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. And I don't know what it is or why it is like that. I don't know why people feel the need to or scared to play video games just for the sake of just playing the video game. Why they feel this like
desire to cheat,
incredible desire to just always win. Because I remember cheating in the early days of Rust was like meme cheating. It was like someone spin botting to get laughs.
Yeah,
it wasn't like this weird closet cheating stuff there is today. Like I deal with cheating a lot on stream. I had to say I'm always right when I accuse someone, but like a lot of the time I report people and they do get banned. So like it becomes a bit of a symptom of just the whole thing where you start accusing people of cheating because you just don't trust people anymore. And I think there's a lot of the players who are like that. It's sad.
What do you think the solution is then? Do you know if there's a solution?
I don't think there's a solution. Well, again, I'm not a game developer. I'm not an anti-cheat developer. But my solution comes from the perspective of where we are clearly trying to use like technical restrictions to stop people cheating, and they are failing. Like they're clearly not working. Cheaters are still bypassing any sort of protection that seems to be put in place. It needs to come down to registration, in my opinion. You should have to register with it. Like, I think there's like a third-party website you can register with to play video games. I think it's like something ID or something.
Yeah.
And I think to play the game, you should have to actually verify yourself with this third party so you can log into the game. It's just too easy to get a Steam account. Steam doesn't care. That's blatantly obvious at this point. So I think the current setup is just a perfect storm that just facilitates really easy cheating. Local pricing for games and stuff like that allows games to get bought easily off, again, third-party websites. And it just, people just have no consequence for cheating.
Yeah.
You can just get back on another account.
Like another $3 account.
Like, I think it was actually really positive that FacePunch made the move to start giving people that one chance.
You think that's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing because there's some people who I found over my time playing that usually there's a bad egg in a friendship group that influences the rest.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of people who have cheated who actually truly regret it. And I think actually what's happened is some people who have cheated have regretted it, but then they don't feel there's a way back. There's no redemption.
Yeah.
They're just like, you see Komomo ban people for having alt game bans and all that all the time. There's like, may as well just cheat at that point. That's the attitude, right? Because I can't play anyway. So this gives people like a way back. I think like giving people the opportunity to redeem themselves is a good thing. Obviously, it can be open to abuse, but I think it potentially does more positive than harm.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely, when it first was announced, was like, oh, that's interesting. I think that was probably the general reaction was like, how is that a good thing? But it does make sense, I guess, in that respect that people do change. And people, especially like if they were a lot younger when they did cheat, people grow up and people do change. So
for sure, people make mistakes. Like, I'm not saying every person who cheats in the video game made a mistake. Like, I think there are people who are truly just here to cheat and ruin other people's experiences and all that. So, like, it is for a smaller niche of people. And I definitely see people, like, the argument on the other side as valid about it being, why are we giving people opportunities to come back if they've screwed up? They should, like, it's at this point it's very obvious that you shouldn't cheat in Rust. And
what do you think of like premium servers? I guess it's a bit of a band-aid fix, but do you think it's been positive, and do you think you've had a good experience with premium servers?
I've had a mixed relationship with premium servers. I found them to be, the way people played on premium was like noticeably different to the way people played on just a general vanilla server.
You think it's like sweatier and like the better players, I guess?
I think people played more scared. It seemed like people didn't want to actually go out and do stuff. I don't know why that was the case, but it seemed to be the way it was. People, like, whether it was more experienced players just playing more meticulously to win, and you can play boring to win in this game. You don't have to do anything exciting. That's down to design, which is, being looked at, I think, where I'm talking about the people who could just turtle Supermark and get a tier 3. If that was in the game, it's not, I don't think you have a right to be angry at the player.
Yeah, of course.
For
don't hate the player, hate the
playing
game.
within the rules. But they shouldn't be able to do that. But like, if they were able to, then that's what they did. I don't know. I think it was a great idea in concept, and I think there's a lot of stuff on the back end we don't know that was particularly successful with it. But I don't know if ultimately it's solved the problem. I think for people who want to cheat, I think like buying an account with a few DLCs on it, I think you only needed like 1 or 2 DLCs on the account to meet the threshold. And that, those DLCs lose all their value when they're attached to a Steam account. There's no value to them. So I always thought the DLC shouldn't count. It should be the skins that still hold some monetary value that could be sold. So it was actually like a punishment for getting banned. But $15 to a cheater who's spending God knows how much on hardware and software to cheat is a pinch of salt. But then on the other side, there's people who play Rust who can't afford skins. And like genuine players, I've even got some of my community who were loathed the idea of having to buy $15 worth of skins so they could play a server that's non-cheat.
Yeah,
because they said to me, I bought the game for however much it is. What happened?
he opened and he fucking killed me.
Killed him.
Nice, dude. Let's eco raid through that wall. So short form was the way you grew an audience initially, and recently you've started doing long form stuff.
Yeah.
What's the plan with that? Is that just kind of learning a lot of that right now and seeing what works? Kind of back to the start with the process of, finding out what works?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, like, same as the early shorts, I think. Like, I don't think your first videos are great. The same with me. I think they're good in some respects. Like, I obviously carried over some of the stuff I learned from shorts and, picked up a lot of pieces from everywhere. Always really loved the storytelling aspect of Rust. And I think that's one of the things that's, no matter where the game's at, or where I think about the game, I'll always enjoy telling stories in Rust, whether it's my channel or collabing with someone and making them a great story. I really enjoy doing that. Yeah, so I've put out some videos, and they've done all right. Like for new long form on a channel that's never had long form, there was a question over whether the shorts viewers would be interested in watching long form or whether they just want
especially considering like your shorts are a different type of content as well.
Totally.
It is still Rust, but it's like different niche of Rust, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was some like degree of like looking at YouTube analytics that suggested that the viewers watched long form. So yeah, that was a presumption that, well, why wouldn't they watch mine if they've already subscribed? So there's a lot of trial and error. Like it's not an exact science, as you would know as well. It takes.
You enjoying it though? Like learning?
Oh yeah,
stuff?
absolutely. I'm enjoying it. Absolutely.
That's half the battle, because like obviously streaming is very different to making YouTube videos and stuff. So if you maybe not getting the performance that you want at the end of it, like it's all part of the process of, and as long as you're enjoying it, there's potential to grow then. Because if you're not enjoying it, then it's tough to convince yourself to keep going to get to that point that you want to be at,
For sure. And I think it comes back to what I said before about like, rather than having the attitude of I don't have this many viewers, being more like, where am I going to get my next viewers from?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to get my next viewers? Rather than, wallowing. You can use your energy to wallow about where you're at, or you can use your energy to try and grow further and be happy where you're at. Like, at least some, like, mate, I mean, like, one of my long forms in my recent videos did 44,000 views. I mean, in any other walk of life, 44,000 people is a lot of people. Like, that's a lot of people watching a video. There's nothing to be upset about there. Like, obviously I want it to perform better because, I want to make it a viable career. I want to diversify my content from a business standpoint as well. And it's something that my community has been asking for basically since I started. Why don't you make videos? Why don't you make videos? Well, here's the videos, but I've got to learn, and it takes time. And, that's really the one thing that now is I'm starting to feel like I don't have time for things. Whereas in the past, when I was just streaming or my mate was doing the shorts with me, like that wasn't a big time sink. But this is like, to do the videos I want to do, which I had in my mind that I knew I had in my mind. I always wanted to do long form videos, and I had ideas to do them, but I knew it would take time to do them well and do them justice. I didn't want to just put out long form videos for the sake of doing it and not be proud of them. I wanted to be able to be proud of what I put out, regardless of how many views it was going to get.
Yeah, which you tackled the idea of even putting it on the channel that you already had some growth on with your shorts. Like initially you were putting these long form videos on another channel just because down the line you knew you wanted to make something that was maybe more high quality when you had a better idea of what you were doing, I guess.
Yeah, and I just didn't know what I didn't know. I knew that the first videos that went out would basically be like my early shorts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just even knowing that you can't just use a VOD and actually have to record separately. Like little things like that, like just technical things which you might not think of, or whether you use subtitling or don't use subtitling, or whether you add your own voiceovers or a cinematic at the start and how the story will be paced and all these different things. And I love, as I said earlier, I love learning. I don't have an issue with learning things. I'm very analytical from my background. So sometimes I can overanalyze things.
I think YouTube's very different to Twitch in that aspect though, where it's Twitch is a lot of just invest hours into streaming and grow, whereas YouTube's upload a video and then spend some time working out what worked and what didn't work. I mean, Twitch is that to an extent, but YouTube's another level of analytics, analyzing that sort of stuff and going into depth on those sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's another thing with Twitch as well. Like you just said, just put hours in. It's kind of like that, but also kind of not. Like, I feel like just like putting a ton of hours in isn't enough. As I think you said before, you need to be conscious of what you're streaming as well. It's not as simple as just stick a stream on, stream X amount of hours, and you'll succeed.
Yeah.
You need to be really conscious of what you're actually doing, and always be trying to keep it fresh and make sure everyone's having a good time. There's a lot of aspects to successful streaming, which is really difficult.
Yeah, YouTube, I guess the way you analyze it is different though to Twitch.
Yeah, for sure. What's he doing? Killed him! He's dead! I got AK!
I'm coming. Dude, this has gone from a yarn to actually playing now. Fuck the yarn.
I'm down. Shit, I wasn't paying attention. You dead.
I'm dead.
GG.